Economic Development Corporation has served Leimert Park and surrounding communities, empowering tomorrow's leaders and changing lives. Parkside EDC has awarded over $400,000 in college scholarships while sharing economic principles of the Big Five of money with students and their families. Parkside EDC partners with organizations like the Brotherhood Crusade to assure our youth have the financial acumen to succeed. Parkside EDC provides families and businesses with financial insights, offering free online, on-site, and on-air B-Warp presentations. The Black Wealth Attainment and Retention Programs helps our community acquire, sustain, and pass down legacy wealth. High school seniors can apply for this year's scholarship awards at parksideedc.org. Scholarships will be awarded at Parkside EDC's Gospel/Jazz Brunch on Sunday, April the 27th. For details, tickets, or donations, please visit parksideedc.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Tavis, Smiley. Glad to have you with us in this hour. A day of breaking news. Just a busy show today. But I've been looking forward to this hour. I am delighted in this hour, for the hour, to be in conversation with the actress and now author, the two-time Emmy Award winner, Uzo Aduba, to talk about her path to stardom, her new book, which is called The Road is Good, How a Mother's Strength Became a Daughter's Purpose. We will talk about her new show on Netflix, The Residents, produced by Shonda Rhimes and Shondaland. A whole lot to talk to Uzo about in this hour. Before I do any of that, let me give you the trailer for the Netflix hit, The Residents.
Right now is a state dinner. There are 200 people down there, including the President of the United States.
Did anything unusual happen? Other than my boss dying? Other than that, yes.
That's Cordelia Cup.
She is the best detective in the world.
Where's the body? Oh, I see feet. Mr. President, this house needs to be treated like a crime scene. There may be a murderer out there. Who's he?
Edwin Park, Special Agent, FBI. I'm really just here to help.
Can you hit one? That would help.
How do you want to do this?
I need to talk to everyone. Did you see Mr. Winter this evening?
I ran into him. He said, I am going to be dead by the end of the night.
I mean, it's just something people say.
I've never said that. Has anyone here ever said I'm going to be dead by the end of the night?
Yeah, the one time I went camping, I said that.
Tell me about AB Winter.
A lot of people in this house had issues with AB.
He could be very uncompromising.
No.
We were always super cool.
He was like a father to me.
I had no issues with A.B. Winter.
That's the truth.
Not even close.
Not even close to being close.
Close is over here, and close to being close is over here.
I got it. If you want to understand the White House residents, you have to understand this. We are the house. All these other people, they are not. It's us versus them.
We need to create
carefully here. This is the White House.
Agent Park told me you have a suspect. You told me you had a suspect.
Yes.
No.
I'm trying to solve a murder, and I've got the FBI, the President of the United States, and Kylie Minogue breathing down my neck.
You've made this very dramatic.
Thank you.
You made this very dramatic. Thank you. Uzo Aduba, good to have you on this program. How are you today?
Thank you so much, sir. It's wonderful to be here with you.
I am delighted to have you on, and I'm glad we have an hour. There's a whole lot to talk about in this hour. Let me just start with this. You should know that Ed Asner, the great thespian, Ed Asner, was a friend of mine. We interviewed many times on my television show, on my radio show. We spent time together. I supported his foundation. Anytime he was performing his one-man show, I would go see him. So Ed Asner and I were boys. We were good friends. He's much older than I am, of course, but I just took a liking to Ed Asner. He took a liking to me, and we were friends. I raised the name of the iconic actor Ed Asner because Uzo Aduba is only one of two people in the history of television. She knows where I'm going. She's laughing already. She's only one of two people in the history of television to win an Emmy in comedy and drama. We call that high cotton, Uzo.
Just to put a label on it.
Yeah, that's high cotton. Comedy and drama?
Yeah. I'm truly still humbled by the idea. Even hearing you say that is so wild to me, you know, and to be in the company of the great Ed Asner, who was a remarkable actor and such an incredible talent, is still beyond my understanding. I'm laughing a little bit because I'm uncomfortable and a little bit because it's just astounding.
No, you better own it, girl. You better own it. You did it. You did the work. You won the award. You made history. And again, only two people have done that, and one is a white male, and the other is a sister. So that's a beautiful thing.
Yes.
That's great company to be in, and so I'm honored to have you on this program. As I said, there's a lot to talk about with Uzo Aduba. Her journey has been an amazing journey. And I'm going to ask her when we come forward. I can tell you right now where I'm going to go when we come forward. I'm just going to say it like this. Tell me about your mama. Tell me about your mama. And you can't read this book, The Road is Good, without coming away with a deep, deep, deep appreciation for her journey, including the role that her mother played in that regard. And y'all know I'm a mama's boy. I can't deny it. I'm a mama's boy. And so I'm always fascinated by the role that people's mothers have played in their lives. And wait till you hear the story of Uzo Aduba and her mother. You're going to hear that and a great deal more when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
Hope, agency, dignity. This is Tavis Smiley.
Can you dig it? Come on!
Robinhood Gold members can now enjoy the VIP treatment, receiving a 3% IRA match on annual retirement contributions. With Robinhood Gold, the perks of the high net worth are now available for any net worth. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. To receive a 3% boost on annual IRA contributions, sign up at Robinhood.com/gold.
Investing involves risk. 3% match requires Robinhood Gold $5 a month for 1 year from first match. Must keep funds in IRA for 5 years. Go to Robinhood.com/boost. Robinhood Financial LLC member SIPC. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold LLC.
Make a move into a home of your own. With City National Bank's Ladder Up Home Loan Grant, you could receive up to $20,000 that you never need to pay back. Use it toward your down payment, save on closing costs, or to buy down your mortgage rate. Find out more at cnb.com/ladderuphome. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Property must be in a qualifying market in California, New York, or New Jersey. Additional terms and conditions apply. Not all applicants will qualify. Terms are subject to change without notice. City National Bank is an equal housing lender. Member FDIC. NMLS number 536994.
Before the fire, Altadena was a real-life Wakanda. A thriving black oasis just 15 miles from downtown Los Angeles. 80% black residents were homeowners, building intergenerational wealth against the odds. It was a hub of black-owned businesses, churches, and cultural institutions. It stood as a symbol of black resilience and economic independence. Then, in a matter of hours, it was gone. The fire tore through homes, swallowed businesses, and left behind a painful void. But was it just an unstoppable act of nature, or was negligence involved? Did officials ignore early warning signs? Were the response efforts delayed or insufficient? What role, if any, did corporate or government failures play? Survivors are demanding answers. Don't miss our KBLA Talk 1580 Town Hall. The Eden Altadena Fire, 100 days and counting, on Wednesday, April 16th, 4 to 6 p.m. at the Robinson Park Recreation Center, 1081 North Fair Oaks in Pasadena. Join Dominic DePrima, Nee Cordelai Corte, James Farr, Tavis Smiley, and a panel of survivors, community leaders, and experts as we commemorate Day 100 since the wildfires flared up, and we discuss where we go from here. It's KBLA's Eden Altadena Fire, 100 Days and Counting Town Hall, Wednesday, April 16th, 4 to 6 p.m. at the Robinson Park Recreation Center in Pasadena. Light refreshments to follow. Admission is free, but sign-up is required at our KBLA1580.com website. The first 100 attendees will receive a complimentary air purifier. This is a community call to action, brought to you by KBLA Talk 1580 and Quinn Emanuel Trial Lawyers. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black. Let's get back to more of this rich dialogue with Tavis Smiley.
As I said earlier, produced by our friend Shonda Rhimes at Shondaland. The Residence is now streaming on Netflix. We will get to that later in this conversation. That's why you need a whole hour with Uzo Aduba, because there's so much to talk about. We'll get to the show a little bit later. I want to start this conversation, if I can, Uzo, with your book, The Road is Good, How a Mother's Strength Became a Daughter's Purpose. And I'll just set you up and you take it and run with it. We got time, so stretch out. Tell me about your mother.
My mother was a pretty remarkable lady. She was born in Nigeria, both my parents, and immigrated to the United States. She came here, she had 5 kids, and a single stamp that she placed on each of us, and that was for us to live our dream. She would say all the time that her dream was for us her American dream was for us to be able to live our dream. And she really deposited that excitement, that passion to find your highest pursuit, highest calling in life in each of us. She was a hardworking woman, Tavis. She led by example, and she believed so deeply in each of us. And that hard work and that strength of belief is what I really truly believe is what has been my guiding light throughout all of my life for everything that I've ever pursued. She was a remarkably strong, spunky, smart, loving woman.
Mm-hmm. Tell me about your search for immigrant identity. I raise that because we're in a moment right now. I don't mean to make you political. This is me, not you. You ain't got to go there.
Sure.
You ain't got to go there. But we were just talking about it earlier in the program today. We're in an era right now where everybody knows that Donald Trump is being punitive and pejorative on immigrants. I mean, I'm thinking as you're talking a moment ago, if you were trying to come here now, you wouldn't get in. Your mama wouldn't get in if she were coming here now, not in this particular moment. And so I'm processing this as you're talking to me in real time. Talk to me then about your search for immigrant identity once you came here. How did you, as we say, how did you figure out how to get in where you fit in?
Yeah, at first it was really difficult because as a kid, really all you want is to have peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and a brown paper bag. And some slices of apples as your lunch in the cafeteria at the table, and you want to fit in with everybody else, and instead here you come with your hot goat meat pepper soup or jollof rice, and everybody's looking at you like, "What's that?" And you're like, "It's jollof rice and it's delicious,"
Yeah.
And I think it's also important to know, where I grew up. I grew up in a very homogenous New England town, Medfield, all white, very small. And, my parents moved there in the 80s. So we're talking 80s, 90s growing up. It's a very different time where we really felt so foreign to what that community knew at the time. But here's the thing. My parents were so proud of their immigrant story. They raised us to be proud in our blackness as Nigerians, as our blackness of America. I'm proud to be black, and their insistence, I talk about in the book, my mom was really determined to ensure that her children were raised with the same level of pride of identity as she was raised with. And she did not want the influence of the surrounding environment to in any way impact the way that her children saw themselves. In other words, as I grew, and I'm so proud of it now, even more proud of it now, is as I was growing, it's like, no, everything about you, I know that maybe the surrounding influences are telling you that you're different, or that it's wrong, or that food smells weird, but you know what? You should embrace that, celebrate that, lean into it, love every aspect of it, because not only is it who you are, it's what makes you incredibly special. And I'm so thankful to have had that lesson early in life, because it has fortified me in my adulthood to really own all of who I am. And I think when I look to your question, the story of immigrants today, I think this country has much to be proud of the people who have come from different places around the world by choice or by force, frankly, who have paid and played a huge investment into what is the American story. Immigrants, the people coming from different places, we are the spine that elongates the American story. So I'm very proud of it.
As you should be, because if your parents don't get in, we don't have a black woman winning an Emmy in the comedy and drama categories. So that history wouldn't have been made had you not made it. So
that's true too.
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing. I want to circle back right quick, Uzo, to your parents choosing. I assume they chose to live in this homogenous community. Let me tell you why I'm asking this. I know something about living in an area of homogeneity. I obviously am an African American, and I grew up in an all-white community in Indiana. My family was the only black family in the area where we lived. We were, one of just a few black families in the school system, not just the school system that we went to, in the school I graduated from. And in my case, I was voted most likely to succeed. I was voted class president. I was head of the speech team. So the good white people in my school, got along with me. I got along with them. I learned a lot from them. I've taken all those lessons all these years later about how to get along with white folk. But I know something about living and growing up in a homogenous community. My father and mother were there because my father was in the Air Force, and we got transferred to this place, this all-white place in the state of Indiana. You all are coming from Nigeria, and you end up in this basically all-white community in Massachusetts. How did that decision get made?
Well, I think when my parents first came to America, I don't know if that was the first stop on the plane and nobody took a boat further or what. Like, it was like, it seemed like everybody was in Boston, probably because the wealth of higher education in Boston, frankly, is my guess.
Yeah.
But we ended up in that community, honestly, because my parents, humble beginnings. My parents come from a humble background, and education was prized to them, and they could not afford to send us to private schools. So they did their research, and Massachusetts was one of the best states in the country at the time of education, and they found the top places with public schools that had high levels of education, and that's how we ended up there. It was strictly a school choice. And they saw that Medfield had a high quality education, and the next best thing to being able to send your kid to private school is being able to send your kids to or to move to a town with a top level education. So the seven of us, my parents bought a 3-bedroom house, and the seven of us moved in there.
Yeah. Talk to me, if you will, for a moment here about, how about I put this, the alchemy of being out of place, yet knowing who you are and being driven by a conviction to live out your American dream?
Yeah, here's the wonderful thing about growing up there. So much of the feeling out of place, not knowing where I fit in, set the table for my adult self. And really, frankly, holding firm to those individual characteristics of mine, and really learning how to celebrate them, which has paid into like my adult life. So learning to stand out as a kid actually gave me the strength to stand out as an adult.
Yeah.
As a kid, I think every kid, no matter what it is that they stand out for, wants to fit in some way. I just think that's adolescence as a whole,
Yeah.
You learn quick. Like, it's like, guess what? You aren't the same, and not that you aren't the same, but there are differences, I should say, between you that are okay to exist. And I will say, my town, I'm so thankful for the people, my neighbors, my mom's friends, the friends that I had, some of the teachers that I had who were really, really pivotal and central in helping to make sure that we really embrace those things. My mom, of course, leading the charge.
Yeah.
Because if those things hadn't happened when I was younger, those experiences of standing out, I wouldn't have had the strength to keep my name, as an example. And other things like that I'm glad that I have now, because I'm so proud. So I can't express it enough. I'm so proud of that background, my roots, my origin story, which I think, frankly, has a lot to do with that American dream coming to light. And that's what makes me uniquely me.
As you were talking, my mind went, I mentioned earlier that I grew up in a community not dissimilar to the one you grew up in. And my mind, as you were talking about your teachers and those you remember, my mind went right to Mrs. Vera Graff. Mrs. Vera Graff Uzo was my second grade teacher. And I'm the only I'm the only black kid in this school with all these white kids. I'm the only black kid in this class. And I felt a certain level of intimidation that I didn't want to confess to my parents, but I felt it. And one day, Mrs. Graff asked me to stay after class, and I stayed. And she looked at me, and she said, "Tavis, you are as talented as anybody else in this class, and you have to quit quitting." That was her phrase. I never forgot it. "I just need you to quit quitting. You're quitting on me, and I know how gifted you are. I know how talented you are as much as anybody in this class." This is a white woman telling me how gifted I was. And nobody at that point in my life had ever spoken to me in those terms. But Mrs. Graff did. I never forgot that moment. I'm 60 years old now. I've never forgotten that moment. And she lived long enough to see my career take off in TV and radio and all the honors and accolades I've received. And every time I would go home, I would go to the nursing home to visit Mrs. Graff. And she'd have all her friends lined up in the hallway at the convalescent home to meet her student, Tavis Smiley. And so when you talk about your teachers, I remember mine fondly as well. And that's just a shout out to all the teachers out there. Your students are going to remember you one way or the other. You get to choose how they remember you, but they will remember you one way or the other. I digress on that. I want to start this. I know that in 2.5 minutes we won't get a chance to complete this circle for me. That's why we have an hour. We'll continue when we come forward. But let's just start this part now. Not unlike many Americans right now who are listening to this conversation, Uzo, you went from being a kid to ultimately being a caretaker for your mother. At one point, you're her child, and then overnight, it seems, time goes so fast, you go from child to caretaker. Tell me about that part. You write about it so beautifully, so brilliantly, and so poignantly in the book, The Road is Good.
Yeah, I mean, I think caregiving is the tax maybe we all pay for our time here on Earth. And I was I had to pay mine, and blessed enough to be able to, for my mother, who unfortunately was diagnosed with cancer, pancreatic cancer. And it is that sort of baton pass, that handoff into adulthood, I think, when you become the caregiver for your parent. You're no longer the child, but you're not quite the parent to them, but you are given the opportunity to return the amount of love that was poured into you in your childhood, and the amount of attention. And I'm so thankful that I was able to spend all of that time with my mom and to really, really let her know not just how much I loved her, but also to be able to thank her for the decades of her loving me.
Yeah. As I said, I'm a mama's boy, so I resonate. I resonate with that. When we come forward, you said something a moment ago that I didn't have time to get to then, but I want to make sure that we address this in just a moment when this conversation continues, and that is this notion of holding on to your name, as you put it. You held on to your name. One does not tend to think of Emmy Award winners in comedy and drama having the name Uzo Aduba. And yet she held on to that name and has not stopped her from becoming the star that she is now on The Resistance on Netflix. But I want to talk about that decision to hold on to your name. I want to probe that. Our guest, again, is Uzo Aduba, star of The Resistance on Netflix, a two-time Emmy winner, author of the book The Road is Good, How a Mother's Strength Became a Daughter's Purpose. I'm loving this. More of it when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
What's your quarrel with the world? You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
With Progressive's Name Your Price tool, you get coverage options based on how much you want to pay for car insurance. And then you decide how to spend the rest of your money, because you're in charge. Today, you're going to pay down your credit card bill. But you decide when you'll pay it. Before the due date, so those interest charges don't get you. But you decide if you pay it in full. But you definitely should, because again, interest charges. With Progressive's Name Your Price tool, we'll help you find coverage at a fair price. And then you're in charge. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Think It Up is an initiative to activate student-powered, teacher-led learning projects. Students and teachers, how can you spark great learning experiences in your classrooms today? Join at thinkitup.org.
Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice: continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org.
Is this the time? This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Lakers have to regroup in a hurry after a demoralizing loss Tuesday night at Oklahoma City. The Lakers have a highly emotional game tonight in Dallas. It's the first return to Dallas for Luka Doncic after he was traded to the Lakers for Anthony Davis on February 1st. Doncic played his first 5.5 NBA seasons with Dallas. His tune-up last night for tonight's game ended early. Doncic was ejected with 7 minutes left in the third quarter after getting 2 technical fouls. Doncic had 23 points and 5 assists before he was tossed. The Lakers and Dallas tip off at 4:30 on ESPN. The Clippers extended their winning streak to 5 with a 122-117 win over San Antonio at the Intuit Dome in Inglewood. 24 points and 20 rebounds for Vika Zubac. The Clippers moved into a 4-way tie for 4th place in the Western Conference with Denver, Golden State, and Memphis. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, I'm Zoe Williams, a.k.a. the Voice of Reason, encouraging you to join me weekdays from 7 to 9 p.m. for the world's most intriguing relationship radio roundtable. Every night, I facilitate and encourage our loyal listeners to participate in the most engaging relationship discussions you'll hear anywhere. So make it a point to rendezvous with me, Zoe Williams, the Voice of Reason, Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Trust me, your relationships will never be the same. The VOR is on fire tonight.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black. KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio that's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
Hi, I'm Dominique DePrima, and it's almost time to celebrate KBLA's 4th anniversary, coming up Juneteenth 2025. We'll be marking the achievement with 4 key community events, including a special symposium, luncheon, and brain trust hosted by me entitled The State of Black Women in Los Angeles. Keep it locked here for details on how to join us for this groundbreaking symposium examining the unique challenges, triumphs, and contributions of Black women in Los Angeles in the areas of education, healthcare, community leadership, cultural and political contributions. This public convocation will provide a critical forum to address the specific social, economic, and political realities facing Black women in LA today. We'll go live with a radio broadcast and YouTube live stream, a public discussion, and a private dialogue with some of LA's most impactful women. It's an affirmation of Black women standing at the intersection of race and gender in times of adversity while demonstrating remarkable resilience and leadership. We will listen and we will speak out and be heard, all in service of finding opportunities and solutions. Please plan to join us in celebrating our 4th anniversary by amplifying the voices of Black women. For more on our symposium and 4 events celebrating 4 years on the air, simply stay tuned or keep an eye on KBLA1580.com and help make this Juneteenth more jubilant with all of us at KBLA Talk 1580.
Paid for by government.com. Did you know? The United States Mint has issued a new Morgan silver dollar coin in proof condition for the first time. Not only that, they are also minted in 99.9% pure silver for the first time ever in history. Coin experts are calling this an amazing opportunity for anyone that knows the enduring popularity of Morgans. But you must hurry. Only 400,000 of these legal tender silver dollars were issued. These first ever Morgan silver dollars are brand new with stunning mirror-like finish, minted by the iconic San Francisco Mint. Call now and you're guaranteed a new first ever 99.9% pure silver proof Morgan dollar. To learn more, call 1-800-973-9717. If you order now, you will receive a free coin collector bonus pack, a $25 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-973-9717 now to secure your new Morgan silver dollars before they are gone. That's 1-800-973-9717.
Sometimes he fails at fitting in, but we're okay with that. You're inside the Tavis Smiley Show.
You are indeed with Uzo Aduba, who is star of The Residents on Netflix. If I said Resistance when I went to break, that's my mindset. I apologize. We've been talking about The Resistance all day today. Why? Because in case you have not heard, there was breaking news earlier today that Donald Trump got spanked, got his behind handed to him today because he'd been bragging about these tariffs. And the world community called the bluff of the bully and backed him down. Everybody said, okay, you can play that game if you want to. And so he increased tariffs on everybody else, and they doubled down on increasing tariffs on our goods. And just an hour and a half or so ago, Donald Trump had to back down on his tariff plan and announced that there was a 90-day pause. Of course, he used the word pause. He got egg on his face, but he used the word pause with regard to backing down on these tariffs. But as I said earlier on today's program, more than once, when we fight, we win. Again, the only way to beat down a bully is to call his bluff. I hope Democrats are paying attention. I hope colleges and universities are paying attention. Other institutions are paying attention. This is me, not Uzo. I don't want to make her political, but I want to explain what happened today. And if you were listening for the first hour or two, you heard all of this breaking news in real time while we were on the air. And so the resistance is on my mind. And that's why probably I said resistance. The show is called The Residents on Netflix, and I'm very aware of that. Didn't realize I had made that mistake, but wanted to correct that. Don't want to ever disrespect any guest with the wrong name of their work, their show. And so it is called, of course, The Residents. But you know that because you're all fans of the show. Produced again by Shonda Rhimes and Shondaland. It stars Uzo Aduba, who is our guest in this hour. I wanted to I said a moment ago, Uzo, come to this point that you made earlier. When you said it, first of all, you have a powerful way of speaking. My producers and I were just talking, like, your presence is, I see why you're such a great actress, because even in conversation, you just have a presence, and we feel it. We don't just hear it, but we feel your presence when you speak. And so when you use this phrase, that what your parents, your mother instilled in you, was, I'm paraphrasing now, a sense of pride about who you were, even though you were the only person the only family that looked like itself in this community, and it emboldened you, it empowered you, so much so that you held on to your name. But that phrase jumped out at me. Tell me more, please.
Yeah, when I was younger, my full name is Uzamaka. That's my whole name. It's actually what the title of the book is, my name in English. The
Sure.
road is good. That's what my name means. And Uzo is a shortened name for that. And, the first day of school, because my last name starts with an A, I was second in the roll call after Daniel Abramson. And
hold up. I just love that all these years later you actually remember that. That's funny to me.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I know Daniel Abramson's gonna go, and then it's gonna be me.
Well, I can tell you this. Daniel remembers your name too. Especially these days. You become a 2-time Emmy winner. Oh, Daniel knows your name for sure. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Uzo.
Yeah, and his name would be said, and it would fly off the tongue of every teacher, and then you would see the teacher sort of staring at the piece of paper, really unsure of what the next name was, and so confounded by all these letters together. And I won't say what grade it was, even though I know, because that would out the teacher.
Yeah.
But I had one teacher in my primary years who really just could not say my name. And she would just say sort of flippantly, like Uzomaka, Uzomeka, Uzamaka, all these. And then she was like, one day she said, your name is just so hard to say. And all these kids would, sort of mock the name as well. Like, what does that mean? Why is it so different? So one day I had come home from school, and it was evening time. My mom was cooking, and she was at the stove stirring something. And I said, Mommy, she said, my dear. I said, can you call me Zoe? Because I thought that was a clever little reinvention twist on my name. And she stopped, and she said, why? And I said, because they can't say Ozamaka. Without skipping a beat, my mom said, she goes, if they can learn to say Tchaikovsky and Dostoevsky and Michelangelo, then they can learn to say Ozamaka. And she went right back to cooking. And
I love your mama. I love your mama. Man.
And we never just, and it's funny because I'm third born. And, over later years, my older sister, for example, like she'd already been down this road. My older sister's name, her name is Onyekachi, Oni for short. She tried to get her to ask if she would call her Tony. So she'd already been down this road, She'd already been down this road. But we never discussed it again. And I think those are the lessons that I'm talking about that she just imprinted on me to know, no, this is your name. I named you this for a reason. Our names have a meaning and a story behind them when we give them to our children. And you're not going to take that away from me, but I'm not going to allow you to take it away from yourself.
And what does it mean to you now? Shakespeare asked that famous question, what's in a name, right? What's in a name? What does it mean to you all these years later that to know how right your mother was and the power that resides in the name that you held on to?
Yeah, a name a rose by any other name is still as sweet.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true. But the nectar of Nigeria is the freshest and sweetest juice.
Ooh, I love it.
I'm so proud to have my name. I'm proud to have my name for a number of reasons. It immediately, I can never forget who I am, from whom I come, or from where I come. I can get in an Uber today, and if I have somebody who's a Nigerian driver without ever even speaking. He knows exactly where I'm from, right? I appreciate that. It's the carriage of the story, like I said before, our names have meaning. My parents gave me that name. The road is good is what it literally means, but what it in a more nuanced way means the journey was worth it. And they gave me that name because my parents had been through so much. My mom had come to this country. My mom survived polio. She'd been through a civil war, the Biafran Civil War in Nigeria, all of these things that she had overcome. She had lost her first husband at a young age. He passed away, and then married again and met my dad. And they had me. And the name bears all of that. That's what they've infused into me, because when you name your child in my culture, it's like you hope they rise to that name. So it's like, oh, this journey might not be an easy one, but boy, it's going to be worth it. And it's like the best example I could give to that is if you were to come and visit me and you got a flat tire and you're running late and it's raining and it's bumper to bumper. But then right as you reach the house, the skies open up and it's perfectly blue. And you knock on the door and I say to you, how was the journey? Kemaka uzo. And you say to me, Ozamaka. It was hard, but it was worth it because I'm here now with you. It means everything. It tells the story of not only my life, but of the lives that were responsible for me being here.
Man, this is as rich as cream. This is as rich as cream. I love Uzo Aduba. I love this conversation. Her book is called The Road is Good, How a Mother's Strength Became a Daughter's Purpose. We've delved into some of that, but I highly recommend the book. Once again, it's called The Road is Good, and she just described how that becomes the title, the subtitle, How a Mother's Strength Became a Daughter's Purpose. So for the rest of our time, which isn't a whole lot of time, I want to spend in conversation with Ms. Aduba, asking how arts became her muse. So we know a bit about the backstory, and the backstory is always the best part of the story for me. I want to know how you got to where you are. What's that old adage? You see my glory, but you don't know my backstory. And so I love getting into the backstory of people's lives on this program. But when we come forward, we'll spend the rest of our time talking about how she got to a place where the arts became her muse, and work our way up to The Residents on Netflix. You are listening to Tavis Smiley.
Interrogating and unpacking. That's what we do around here. You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
This is an ad by BetterHelp. Think about your mentors and idols, the people who inspire you the most. While it may look like they have all the answers, they don't. But they do know when to ask questions and seek the support they need. In a world that glorifies hyper-independence, it's easy to forget that we're all better with a support system. Therapy is a great way to find a consistent source of support in your life, so you can break free from the outdated belief that seeking help is a sign of weakness. BetterHelp has experienced therapists ready to help you with challenges ranging from anxiety and depression to relationships and stress. It's convenient, too. You can join a session with the click of a button, helping you fit therapy into your busy life. You can even send your therapist a message anytime something comes up. Build your support system with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/ABCRadio today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/ABCRadio.
We asked seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well-trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up. Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone, and should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month.
If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
call your senior Medicare patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Imagine a Los Angeles where everyone can thrive, where communities have access to the resources they need to succeed. That's the vision of Detours Mentoring Group, Inc. They're dedicated to improving life in LA County by providing educational support, employment assistance, and spaces for community engagement. By 2050, they want LA to be the best place to connect, create, learn, live, and play. They're working toward an education system that's well-resourced and culturally responsive, becoming a hub for artists and innovators, and making sure everyone has access to healthy food, quality healthcare, and safe housing. It's about building a future where we all have the chance to succeed. We invite you to learn more about their mission and get involved with Detours Mentoring Group, Inc. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Freedom is an endless meeting, so let's get back to it with Tavis Smiley.
I need to talk to Emily Mackel.
Who?
The White House gardener. Do we have the toxicology back on Winter?
No.
What about the blood?
No.
What about a cup of coffee?
Are you asking me to get you a cup of coffee?
Yes.
I'm not your assistant.
You're not?
What about Didier Goatsart?
Oh.
He's our suspect.
We don't have a suspect.
You have a suspect. Agent Park told me you have a suspect. You told me you had a suspect.
Yes.
No.
Agent Park did tell me that. Are you telling me Agent Park did not tell me that?
I don't know what Agent Park told you. I'm telling you I don't have a suspect.
The pastry chef.
Is that a question? Because you just said the words the pastry chef.
Is he a suspect?
No.
Is he not a suspect because he's not a suspect, or is he not a suspect because you don't believe in suspects?
Yes.
It's 2:30 in the morning, Detective.
Which means you shouldn't be wasting my time. I will tell you all when I have something.
I love her. I'm laughing at two things. That clip was amazing. I love the back and forth. Uzo Aduba holds her own on The Residence, in which she stars, of course, on Netflix. But I'm also still laughing. I wish you were here in the studio, Uzo, so you could. First of all, I can give you a big hug and just how much we love you and appreciate you. But I wish you were here because all of my team, my producers, my board, we're all here just sort of laughing. We are still chuckling about that story about your mom at the stove. And the funny part is that when she got done, she went right on back to cooking. That's what we laughing at. That story was beautifully told, and it was hilarious to hear. My time is getting tight. How did the arts, so here you are with your Nigerian self holding on to your name. How did the arts become your muse?
I always just loved them. I started singing in the church, and then my mother dragged me into the choir. I think she saw maybe my talent before I did. And then I started in the school concerts and theater. And again, a teacher was the force that stepped into my path. And I thought I was going to be a lawyer. I was going to go to law school. And she held me after class, my junior year, my teacher, Mrs. Mealize, and creative writing teacher, but also my drama teacher in school. And she asked me, what was I planning to do next year, applying for colleges? And I told her, I was thinking about going here, 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 and here. And I thought I wanted to do something in politics and political science or government or be a lobbyist. I thought that's what I wanted to do. And she said, oh, that's interesting. She said, have you ever given any thought to going into the arts? And the real truth is, Tavis, I hadn't. And she said, I think you have a real gift for it, and I think maybe you could do something with it. And I must have been looking at her just eyes blank, like, in Charlie Brown when the adults are talking and it's like, wonk, 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 wonk. Yeah. Like, it must have looked like it was making no sense whatsoever. And then all I remember what she said next was, you can go to school for this, right? And I didn't. And that's, I think, where some of the chasm between being maybe born here, or maybe even born here with certain privileges, and being an immigrant family. I just really didn't have that exposure to that. But when she said it, a light bulb went off in my head, and I knew that's what I'm supposed to do with my life. So I went to art school. I went to school for opera, actually, classical voice. And I would be on in the morning, we'd be rolling around because it's a voice program. You had to do stuff in the theater side. So I'd be doing my Shakespeare and acting class and rolling around on the floor in the morning. And then in the afternoon, you had to do your music components, and it would be, music theory, ear training, music history. And then while I was in those classes, I was I kind of like the rolling around on the floor part more, like I think I like the acting part more. And I came to, yeah, and I sort of came to learn what I loved about music, and I still love music,
Yeah.
is I love the words, I love the lyrics, I love the story.
Yeah.
And I knew in school, I was like, I think by the time I get to New York, because I knew I wanted to move to New York after college, I said,
Yeah.
I think I think I'm going to be an actor.
And the rest, as they say, is history, and we are all the better for it. When Uzo Aduba talks about her eyes in that moment, talking to her teacher when she was referencing that part about eyes, you know what I thought about, right? Crazy eyes. We'll talk about that part. We'll talk about that part. Orange is the new black when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
For all the freedom-loving folk, this is Tavis Smiley.
I feel like
Hey you, I knew I'd find you back in the same aisle. What are you looking for today? More fiber, more laxatives, more of the same ways to manage your constipation? Look, if your constipation with belly pain keeps coming back, you may have irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C. Ask your doctor how Linzess can help you get ahead of it.
Linzess linaclotide is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
If you're like me, 60 and retired, making ends meet, especially here at the supermarket and drugstore, is tough. I'm so blessed to have found benefitscheckup.org. It's a free and confidential website from the National Council on Aging that connected me to $1,200 a year in programs that help pay for food, medicine, utilities, and more. Maybe it can help you. benefitscheckup.org.
You know where you want to go in life, and City National Bank can help. City National knows the dedication it takes to build your vision for the future into a reality, and our team is here for you. We have a wide range of options to help, from personal savings accounts to interest-bearing money market savings accounts and more, all designed to help you get where you want to go. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Learn more at cnb.com. City National Bank is a subsidiary of Royal Bank of Canada, member FDIC.
Sometimes he fails at fitting in, but we're okay with that. You're inside the Tavis Smiley Show.
You are indeed with Uzo Aduba, who is the star of The Residents, now streaming on Netflix, produced by Shondaland. I've got just, 4.5, not quite 5 minutes left here. I could do this for hours. I have enjoyed this so immensely, even more than I knew I would, talking to Ms. Aduba. Let me just ask you right quick here. What did Crazy Eyes do for your career?
Oh my gosh, it changed it. It changed the shape of it, but I had never done anything in film and television before. And obviously it had a tremendous impact on that first step into that medium. But, I think the real thing that it did for me was that it showed me that there was space for me in a place, in a medium that I wasn't sure that there was place for me.
Mm-hmm.
And the welcoming from that characters and subsequent characters to follow made me believe in continuing to pursue this dream, this art, in a space that I hadn't thought there was a seat at the table for me.
Yeah, Orange is the New Black is like classic TV now. I mean, everybody watches. I mean, man, it's like you got the right one. You picked the right one, man. Because that thing is classic these days. I've got a couple minutes left, and I want to just mention this right quick and have you say a word about it. Uzo was recently announced as the narrator for the Bradley Cooper documentary Caregiving. Why do I raise that? You know why. We were talking about caregiving earlier in this conversation. The documentary premieres on PBS on June 24. Say a word about that, please.
Oh my gosh, I think it does such a beautiful job for highlighting an incredible number of people in this country who are doing the invisible labor of taking care of loved ones while still managing all the responsibilities of their own lives. And the conversation, the long overdue conversation of what caregiving looks like and how we can be of better service to people who are doing that work every single day.
Yeah. I've enjoyed this immensely, as I said. Before I wrap this conversation in the next minute or so, I want to remind you again of the book that is already out. It's called The Road is Good, How a Mother's Strength Became a Daughter's Purpose. I highly recommend it. I just scratched the surface on the stories that she tells in this book. So I recommend you get that, number one. Number two, as I mentioned a moment ago, this new documentary called Caregiving, on which she's the narrator. Morgan Freeman can't get all the work, so she's the narrator on this one. It's called Caregiving. It premieres on PBS on June 24. And then, of course, there is The Residents, now streaming on Netflix. 132 rooms, 157 suspects, one dead body, one wildly eccentric detective, one disastrous state dinner. It's The Residents. The series, again, from Shondaland, streaming on Netflix. Check it out. I love this. I loved it. You are welcome back here anytime you can, but thank you for this amazing hour, Uzo.
Oh my gosh, this was a gift. I am such a huge fan of yours, sir. I think you're just exceptional and an icon, a legacy that is just, it's quite tremendous. And the way and number of people you have been able to touch and talk to over the decades of your career has just been incredible to watch. So thank you for having me.
You were kind. Nothing but a mutual admiration society. That's what this is right about now. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you for your time. Just like that, 3 hours gone. Back here tomorrow, Lord willing, to do it all over again. Until tomorrow, thanks for tuning in to Tavis Smiley. And as always, keep the faith.
All right. We are clear. Thanks so much. That was great.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
Think It Up is an initiative to activate student-powered teacher-led learning projects. Students and teachers, how can you spark great learning experiences in your classrooms today? Join at thinkitup.org.
Hey, this is Zoe Williams, the voice of reason, and for over 20 years.
Think It Up is an initiative to activate student-powered